Okay. Good morning, everyone. We're from Group 5, and we're gonna discuss about individual behavior.
Thank you, Tero. The first part is perception. What is perception? Perception is the process through which people receive and interpret external information from the environment surrounding them. The first part is attribution, which is the process of developing explanations for events. If something happens or occurs around us, we have questions such as why? And then there are two types of errors that we sometimes make when answering that why question. The first one is fundamental attribution error, which occurs when someone's performance problems are blamed more on their internal failures or of the individual than the external factors. For example, when a team leader sees that their member or their employee is underperforming, then this team leader continues to blame it on, oh, this person is lazy, or oh, this person is not smart enough, not clever enough, when in reality there are also external factors that might contribute to that, such as time pressure or their personal problems happening in their daily lives. The second error is self-serving bias, which happens when individuals blame their personal failures for problems on external causes, but attributing successes to internal causes. An example of this error is when we support a team in sports. For example, I support Manchester United. When they succeed, I will always say, oh, they are good. They are playing with a good tactic. They have the best players. But if they fail, I will blame it on the lack of luck. Next, please. Secondly, is perception tendencies and distortions. Sometimes when we see things, we have stereotypes, halo effect, projection, and selective perception. The first one is stereotypes, which occurs when someone is identified with a particular group or category. For example, ethics or ethnics, and they then oversimplify the attributes associated with that group or category and is used to describe that individual. A very common example we see in our everyday lives is the stereotypes of Asians that are like seen as very good at math, when in reality, not everyone from the Asian background is good at that subject. Second one is halo effect, which occurs when one personal attribute is used to develop an overall impression of person in a situation. For example, in an assessment meeting, a leader can have the tendency to change their opinion if one person that they wanted to criticize earlier comes in on time or with a tidy manner, then they will change their perception. Oh, this person just came on time. That means I will not give criticism to him anymore or her. The third one is projection, which occurs when we assume that other people share the same needs, desires, and values as ourselves. This one is really dangerous because if we believe and think that other people is exactly the same as we are, we have the tendencies to have very high expectations or very low expectations and ended up not believing in said person. The last one is selective perception, which occurs when we screen out information that are seen as unpleasant. So we just look at things that we want to look at and we ignore things that we don't want to look at. Next. All these perception is all related to impression. So as human beings, we have the tendency to want to be seen or impress other people well. Impression management is a systematic attempt to influence how others perceive us. In a career context, impression management can help us develop relationships with influential people, advance in jobs and careers, or create pathways to group memberships, social invitations, and also special assignments. This include but not limited to dressing well, knowing how to behave in a certain situation, or being able to do certain things while learning it in a short period of time. All of these impressions have a large effect on who we are in a career context. The next part will be explained by my friend.
Yes. So next we are going to talk about personality. So what is personality? The term personality describes a set of enduring characteristics that makes us unique as individuals. No one can doubt that an individual's personality can influence how she or he behaves and how that behavior is seen by others. The implication of personality extend from how we face problems and pursue tasks to how we handle relationship with everyone from family to friends to coworkers. Next slide, please. Although there are many different personality traits, some of the most widely recognized are a short list of 5 that are especially significant in the workplace, known as the Big 5 personality dimensions. First, extroversion is the degree which someone is outgoing, sociable, and assertive. An extrovert is comfortable and confident in interpersonal relationship, meanwhile an introvert is more withdrawn and reserved. Second, agreeableness is the degree to which someone is good-natured, cooperative, and trusting. An agreeable person gets along well with others, and a disagreeable person is source of conflict and discomfort for others. Third is conscientiousness. This is the degree to which someone is responsible, dependable, and careful. Conscientiousness person focuses on what can be accomplished and meets commitments. A person who lacks consciousness is careless, often trying to do much or failing or doing little. Fourth is emotional stability. Is the degree to which someone is relaxed, secure, and generally unworried. A person who is emotionally stable is calm and confident. Meanwhile, a person which lacking in emotional stability is anxious, nervous, and tense. 5 is openness to experience. The degree to which someone is curious, open to new ideas, and imaginative. An open person is broad-minded, receptive to new things, and comfortable with change. A person who lacks openness is narrow-minded, has a few interests, and is resistant to change. A considerable body of evidence links the Big 5 personality dimension with a range of individuals' attitudes and behaviors. For example, conscientiousness is a good predictor of job performance for most occupation. And extroversion often is associated with success in management and sales. Meanwhile, indications are that extroverts tend to be happier than introverts in their lives overall, and conscientiousness people tend to be less risky, and those more open to experience are more creative. Managers often use these personality judgments to make job assignment, build teams, and otherwise engage in the daily give and take of work in an organization. Next slide, please. Next, we are going to talk about Mbti or Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is a popular approach to personality assessment. It types personality based on questionnaire that probes into how people act or feel in various situations. Called for short Mbti, it was developed by Catherine Briggs and her daughter, Isabel Briggs Myers, from Foundation set forth in the work of psychologist Carl Jung. First, extrovert versus introvert is how people differ in the ways in which they relate to others, or we can call it social interaction. Whether a person tends toward being outgoing and sociable or shy and quiet. Second is sensing versus intuitive. How people differ in the ways gathering data, whether a person tends to focus on details or on the big picture in dealing with problems. Third is thinking versus feeling. How people differ in evaluating information related to decision making. Whether a person tends to rely on logic or emotions in dealing with problems. Fourth is judging versus perceiving. Is how people differ in relating to outside world, or it can be related to work style. Whether a person prefers order and control or acts with flexibility and spontaneity. Next slide, please. This is the explanation before. Next slide, please. This is a sample of Myers-Briggs types found in work settings shown here. There is ESTG, extrovert, sensing, thinking, and judging. ESTG is decisive, logical, and quick to dig in common among managers. And there is ENTG, extrovert, intuitive, thinking, and judging. ENTG is analytical, strategic, and quick to charge and common for leaders. And there is ISFG, introvert, sensing, judging, feeling. They considerate and helpful, also common among team players. And last, this is INTG, introvert, intuitive, thinking, and judging. They insightful, free thinking, determined, and this is common for visionaries. This is a sample of Myers-Briggs types, and Myers or MBTI is popular in management tool. Why? Because employers and trainers like it, because people can be taught to understand their own personality and learn how to work with others having different ones. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Okay, so here we're going to discuss more about technology personality type. So this reflects the levels of social media usage and how media are used to connect to others. Next slide. Now there are 7 personality types, technology personality types, which is first is always on, second is live wires, and third social slammers, sorry. Fourth is broadcaster, 5 is toe dippers, 6 is bystanders, and 7 is never minders. Next slide. And we're going to talk about personal conceptions and emotional adjustment traits. So first, if it's locus of control, which is the extent to which one believes that what happens is within one control. Next is authoritarianism, which is the degree to which a person tends to defer to authority. Next is Machiavellianism, which describes the extent to which someone is emotionally detached and manipulative. And the last one is self-monitoring, which is the degree to which someone is able to adjust behavior in response to external factors. Next slide. Now, this is the type A personality, which is a person that is oriented toward extreme achievement, impatience, and perfectionism sometimes. And the characteristics are always moving, walking, and eating rapidly, acting impatient, hurrying others, and put off delay by waiting. Next is doing or trying to do several things at once, feeling guilty when relaxing, and purifying or interrupting the speech of others. Next.
Okay, now we'll move on to the next topic, which is about attitude. So what is an attitude? It is a tendency to act in a certain way toward people and events. And from attitude, there are 3 components to it. The first is cognitive component, which reflects beliefs or opinions. The second is emotional component, which reflects a specific feeling. And the third is behavioral component, which reflects an intention that is consistent with the belief and feeling. Now, when it comes to attitude, one can experience cognitive dissonance. So what is it? It's the discomfort felt when one's attitude and behavior are inconsistent with one another. This discomfort often results in coping behavior, a change of future behavior, and rationalizing and forcing the attitude and behavior into compatibility. Okay, moving on, we'll talk about job satisfaction. So what is job satisfaction? It is the degree to which an individual feels positive or negative about their job or various aspects of their work. Okay, so there are many layers or facets in the job satisfaction. The first is about work itself. So does that work offer adequate responsibility, interest, or challenge? The second is quality of supervision, which concerns about the task of the jobs. The third is about the co-workers. So are your Are their coworkers harmonious, respectful, or friendly? The fourth is opportunities. So is an employee subjected to a lot of growth, promotion, or learning? The fifth is pay. So is the pay good? Is the compensation actually helpful to the employee? The sixth is work conditions. Is there adequate work conditions that satisfy the worker? And the seventh is job security. So is the worker does the worker feel secure in their job? And those are the facets of job satisfaction. Okay, when it comes to job satisfaction, there are a lot of interesting trends. So first is that job satisfaction tends to be higher in small firms and lower in large firms. And it is directly correlated with overall life satisfaction. But interestingly, it declines over time. So what this means is that job satisfaction, people with high job satisfaction often have high life satisfaction, but job satisfaction often decreases later on compared with the start of someone's job. Furthermore, least satisfying jobs or jobs with the least job satisfaction often have workers feel underpaid, have no career advancement opportunities, and they feel trapped. Therefore, to create job satisfaction, a workplace has to ensure that it has opportunities, recognition of performance, work-life balance, chances for advancement, and job security. Okay, furthermore, for job satisfaction, they are directly correlated with four different outcomes, which are withdrawal behavior, engagement, organizational citizenship, and performance. Okay, the first is about its correlation with withdrawal behaviors. So what are withdrawal behaviors? It's about temporary absenteeism and actual job turnover, or basically the amount of times an employee has to be absent or resign from the job. So from this, workers who are more satisfied with their jobs are less absent than workers who are dissatisfied. On the other hand, satisfied workers are more likely to stay in their positions than dissatisfied workers. This is important because when a lot of employees resign or are absent, it incurs a lot of productivity loss. Okay, so the next relationship is about job satisfaction and engagement. And what engagement is a uh, feeling a sense of purpose, personal growth, belonging, and connection. Basically, highly engaged workers are more willing to help improve work performance and speak positively about the firm. Workers with low engagement or disengaged workers results in low commitment, lack of loyalty, high turnover, and lots of times being absent. Basically, high engagement positively influences job involvement and their commitment to the organization. Okay, so the third relationship is job satisfaction with organizational citizenship behavior. So what is organizational citizenship behavior? It is the willingness to go the extra mile or to do the things that are not actually required but are very helpful to the firm. So workers with great organizational citizenship behavior will help advance the performance of coworkers and the firm, making it a better satisfying place. And workers with low organizational citizenship behavior will create antisocial and counterproductive behavior that can disrupt work processes, relationship, teamwork, and overall the job satisfaction of the firm. And the last relationship is about performance. However, this correlation is still debated. It's still debated whether there is a strong relationship between job satisfaction and performance. Why? Because of three factors. First, satisfied employees don't always perform optimally. So even if a worker is happy with his job, it doesn't mean that he's doing his job well. Second is employees with high work performance aren't always satisfied with their jobs. So on the other hand, if an employee does great in his job, it doesn't mean that he actually likes his job or wants to be in this job forever. Um, but interestingly, to conclude, job satisfaction and job performance can influence each other, but but only under certain conditions, especially those related to rewards. So in essence, the relationship between job satisfaction and performance is still debatable at best.
Okay, now we're going to continue to talk about emotions, moods, and stress. And in this, we're going to illustrate and discuss better perspective of individual psychological and mental state influence on working behavior. Next, please. The first is emotions. So what is emotions? Emotion is a strong feeling directed towards someone or something as a result of activities on the workplace on somewhere else. For example, worker get complimented on their works, or it will evoking positive emotions. And whereas negative emotions can be evoked by having criticism and other. So individuals need to be able to excel in emotional intelligence or the ability to understand emotions in ourselves and others and to manage relationships effectively. Next, please. So the next is moods. Moods is generalized feelings or states of mind with a hard defined causes that may persist for a longer period of time. So moods come with positive and negative impact as well. So if a person can't contain their moods, it can lead into mood contagions or the spillover of one's positive or negative moods to others. Next, please. So closely aligned with emotions is stress and strain, or the state of tension is caused by extraordinary demands, constraints, or opportunities. And also what causes stress called the stresses. So the stress come with the constructive and the destructive effect. The first is constructive stress, which is the positive stress outcome can increase effort, stimulate creativity, and encourage diligence in one's work, whereas the destructive stress is the negative impact or outcome that impairs the performance and well-being of an individual. Next, please. Okay, this is the cycle of potential negative consequence of a destructive job stress burnout. So the first is intense or long-term stress that already filled up in someone's mind that can lead into strain and burnout. Which can lead into lack of energy, emotional distress, bad attitude, and last is poor self-esteem. And it can reach into possible outcome of personal problems, poor health, lower performance, lower satisfactions, job burnout, and workplace rage. Next, please. Okay, now how to cope with stress. We have the stress and strain management, and leaders must take steps such as the first is temporary schedule changes, so it can adapt to more stressed or burnt out employees. Next is negotiated roles, and then goals discussions and reduce performance expectations and extended deadlines, and last is time off. So in order to do that, individuals need to have an excel in personal wellness or pursue one's full potential through a personal health promotion program, which it means getting rest, exercise, finding and taking pride in yourself, and eating well. Next, please. Okay, I think that is from our group presentation regarding the individual behavior. Thank you for the attention. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.